Hello and welcome to the Old Library. I'm here with two of our student interns, Ananya and Sarah, and they have worked in the archives over the last 2 years to produce the content for the exhibition that we're going to be discussing today. So this exhibition, Marginalised Histories, seeks to uncover traces of the lives of people of colour in Magdalen's past over the last 200 years. The aim of this video is to bring current students' experiences in conversation with the material that we presented in the exhibition on the college's past. It really is a small step in a much bigger process, presenting Magdalen and the diversity of its history and its entanglements with the history of empire. But we hope that it will prompt humble reflections about the past and offer a hopeful vision for the future. So I want to ask you a couple questions about your experience. How did working on this exhibition challenge your understanding of the college's past?
So I think researching student activism in the years roughly 1945 onwards definitely challenged my understanding of the college's past. There were also histories and traces of student activists who were contributing to a new vision of Oxford that they had, which was very different from the one that surrounded them. All of this work was only done because of present-day student activism, but it's only shown the importance of, documenting what students are working towards, what they care about, especially when, students leave. It's really important to be able to recover what they were thinking about and working towards during their time here. And I think Sarah and I's work with oral histories really was testament to that. So
I'd say, you kind of encapsulated what I would say. I think definitely it makes me think about how our experience are going to be remembered in the future. Mm-hmm. That's why I think, projects like this, where we're sitting down, being recorded, that's a lot more than we have access to in the past. There's a lot to be learnt from the lives of people in the past to today's issues. So I think it's definitely challenged my idea that the only people who kind of excelled or attended Magdalen were very privileged.
Yeah, so in terms of the place that it is today, how has working on this exhibition affected your experience as students here?
I think working on the exhibition has made me reflect on how we document, what's going on in the present. It was hard to find evidence of people of colour writing about their experiences at Magdalen.
I totally agree that it's really crucial for students of colour, students from working class backgrounds to be able to see themselves at a place like Magdalen, and that representation is really important because for so many people, it's just unthinkable to be at a place like this. That was reflected a lot by what I found in the archives in the applications of students of color who were some of Magdalen's most illustrious alumni, such as George Odlum, the St. Lucian politician, or Richard Reeve, the South African scholar and writer. I remember reading in Richard Reeve's application to Magdalen how he explained his struggles, which felt very, very contemporary to things that students of color are still grappling with.
So in terms of next steps for the college, what would you suggest?
I think in terms of next steps, this exhibition is great, but it's only a first step, and I think there could be countless more exhibitions and research projects specifically on people of colour and kind of the racial ideas that circulated at Magdalen. So I'd love to see more funding going into research projects to uncover that history.
I totally agree. I think I spoke earlier about, we've talked about the importance of access and hoping that this exhibition will play some small role there, but I also think that it's not just about, making Magdalen more diverse, but also about once people of color and students from different kinds of backgrounds are here, what is their experience like, and how do we make sure that their voices and their particular concerns are met and heard in this place that was not built for people like them. It's really evident to me that activism, anti-racist, anti-capitalist, any kind of activism for change was really the engine of progress and transformation at Magdalen.
Hello, I'm here with Tara, one of our former JCR RAIM reps. Tara, how has this exhibition, how has it affected your, or challenged your understanding of Magdalen's past?
Yeah, it almost just feels like reckoning with it. Acknowledging it is such an important part of everything. Doing this exhibition, having people see it, allows for some amount of healing, or if not, just informing people.
Yeah, thank you. And I was wondering how engaging with this material has led you to think about or reflect on your experience as a student here.
It's been kind to me, in a way that I don't think it always was to brown people. This is a historic thing, this hasn't always been there, and there's like an unlearning process that happens when you deal with these things head on. It just goes to show, I don't know, even in the like 2 or 3 year period between like the current third years and the current freshers, there's a lot of affection and there's a lot of wanting things to be better that seems to have been the case for students of colour going back a really long time.
And I think the work that you're doing, as you say, this exhibition, first of all, it's a response to student initiative to look into the college's past. But particularly, this is one small aspect and step in a much wider initiative that you, as a student, and the students before you and that are now coming after you, are really spearheading.
It's weird. You would have thought that the sort of active involvement stuff, sort of actively trying to make things better, would have been something that you would have had to do in the 20th century as a person of colour here. But it almost feels like they were doing things much more passively, like just by existing in certain spaces. That's like an active revolution, right? Like reading about some of these people who just wearing their like ethnic garb in hall, that was a massive deal. I've done that before, it's really nice. But it doesn't feel like I'm carrying an entire country or an entire race on my back when I'm doing that, you know? I get to choose when I'm fighting a battle and when I'm not, and these people didn't.
It's so great to hear reflections. I think that leads really well into our last question, which is what kind of impact you hope this exhibition will have, and what next steps would you suggest to the college?
I mean, I hope that people will come, I guess. I want people to see it, not least to see Paul's awesome tapestry. Like, there's so much cool stuff in here. I want it to be the case that people can read the history, understand the history, and not think it's an indictment on them personally. Yeah, because I think that when we get that sort of shame and guilt, that's when conversations become less and less productive.
I'm here with Ali and Rishika. How does this make you think differently about the college's past, is my first question.
I was really excited to see the exhibition because when Black Lives Matter happened, I was the racial equalities rep. And at that moment, we all sat down and put a list of things that we want Magdalen to do together. And one of that was to do this kind of research, to put together a history of people of different races at Magdalen College. So to see that actually being implemented and to see it all around me is really exciting for me.
I agree. I think the starting point is that as much students as it can be to see this exhibition, and from that, with the knowledge of the current students, to set the ball rolling and to improve it. And it can impact different ways. So it's now in this room, but maybe it could be more visible in the college. People could start talking about it more.
Thank you for that. Actually, that's one of the reasons we're making these videos and asking you to give some of your reflections. One of the things that's come out of these conversations is that there needs to be a reckoning with the more problematic aspects of the college's past, but also a celebrating of the lives of individuals who were really pioneering in their time, men and women of color who were here in a space that was before them not really welcoming in so many ways, and we just want to celebrate these people. And so we would really love to share this material with the wider community, and we are open every Wednesday from 2 to 4 for you to come see the exhibition.